Hi guys, welcome to my channel. This is Dan. Welcome to Engelgeist. For those of you that are new, welcome to the channel. For those of you that are returning, welcome back. For those of you that support me over on Patreon, thank you so very much for your support. I greatly, greatly appreciate it. This is your daily forecast for Friday the 22nd. This is a timeless message, so it's intended for the highest good of the greater collective. So if it's reaching you on a day that's not the 22nd, don't turn it off. That doesn't necessarily mean that there may not be some information in here that might apply to you or fit to your life situation. So let's see what's going on. If you want to support the channel, please follow me at Engelgeist333 on Instagram. You can book a private reading with me through my Facebook business page. You can go to patreon.com and pick a subscription level there. Get the daily forecast a day early. What else? Like, share, comment, subscribe, tell your friends about me. I would greatly appreciate that. And that's kind of it. So let's see what's going on for May 22nd. What's the good word? What do the people need to know? Oh my god, it's the Seven of Wands again. What is going on? This is so strange. We had we went from Seven of Wands to Five of Wands to Seven of Wands. So to me, this feels like, all right, if we had the Five of Wands yesterday, right, which was that idea of kind of digging deeper into that change, into that emotional depth, going deep into the subconscious, trying to figure out what is it that we're trying to pull out? What is the prize? What is the goal here? What is our personal, deep, spiritual sort of opportunity that we might be seeking, right? Those fishermen in that card. To me, this feels like the next level. We saw the Seven of Wands, which this felt like stability, which I still feel that with this card. But I feel like this is us like maybe adding another wing to this house or another like another level of education or grounding into what it is that we've learned. I don't know why when I look at this house, I feel like it is a schoolhouse. I feel like it is like sort of the culmination of our knowledge that is housed within us, right? Within our spirit, the awareness, maybe our past lives. I know this sounds a little bit freaky, guys, but these eyes up here are giving me this sort of spirit space. This is sort of like our higher self. In this house is sort of the culmination of everything that we are. And so I feel like this card is back to remind us that, like, if we did the work from yesterday where we delved deep into the waters like those fishermen were, and we dug deep into who we are and what we feel and what we want and sort of pulled that idea out, then another layer to this house, to its strength, to its grounding takes place, right? We have another sort of aspect of self, another sort of awareness of self that we can kind of build upon or create. You know how I always have that foundation space in my readings for the monthlies, for all the signs? This is kind of like how that represents to me in this card. Sevens are always about making a choice or a change. I don't feel like this is about that. This to me feels very solid, very firmly rooted, very set in a foundation, right? Strong, powerful. We have all of this wind sort of whipping around, but this house is not rocked by this wind. And I remember we had that trickster energy in the middle of all of this. And I feel like this is us standing strong, tall, aware in what we know to be true, holding tight to that, allowing spirit to educate us even further through yesterday's Five of Wands and through this card again today. That's these eyes that I see here. It feels like spirit is sort of connecting us more firmly to ourselves. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. I feel like when I look at this coming back, it feels like another layer is being added to who we are, what we know to be true, what we believe in, what we're seeking, what we want. And like owning that or placing that as our home. Do you know what I'm saying? Like making that our home base and working from that place, from that solid foundation of what we desire deeply and making the choices to go about getting it. So let me see what the um, mystical shaman oracle has to say. Luminous warrior. This is a new card to us. 32, which is a 5, which again takes me back to that 5 of wands yesterday. 5 is about change. 7s are about choices, right? I feel like there's this centeredness in who he is, this luminous warrior. When I look at that light behind his head, and then I look at this light at like sort of the third eye crown area, and then also here around the solar plexus area, it's kind of like taking our higher knowledge, grounding it into like sort of this building, right? I know this sounds crazy. The 7 of wands is the spirit. Wands is the element of spirit. This house to me is very material. It feels very solid. It feels like built on strong foundations. It feels like we're adding to the foundation of who we are. If yesterday was the 5 of wands, which was like accepting that change and digging deep into our subconscious about what fish we want to bring in, what sort of goal do we want to set for ourselves, this is about like adding that next layer again today, and then like shining that light from that layer, believing in that layer, actively creating from our third chakra and our third eye, right? 3 and 3, like communicating that out into the universe and going after it, shining that light, believing that we can have it, believing that we deserve it, and fighting for it. That's the warrior aspect of this card, right? And not that we have to fight somebody, but like standing in our truth, believing in our truth so much so that we would be willing to fight for it. We would be willing to, this 5 here, this 32 being a 5, we would be willing to make those changes, right? Again, like this luminous warrior too, it takes me back to that 5 of wands card, because I feel like he shines this light in the darkness. We saw that gentleman holding the light on the boat while they fished in the early morning. You know, while we work through the murk and mire of ourselves and find, you know, what is it that's going to make us remember we had that stone of happiness. That's the underpinning grounding stone to all of this. We're also moving into this Hierophant energy, right? Because we're reaching the week's end. This luminous warrior, he stands in the truth of the light of who he is. Strong. You know, the Hierophant is about institutions, learning. He's a, what do they call him? Like a pillar card of the major arcana, right? This to me feels like pillar energy, this house being so sort of stately and immovable. I feel like this is us standing in the light of who we are, understanding that at a deep sort of spiritual place and not being afraid of it any longer, making the choices and changes to sort of pursue that, go after that. Let me look up Luminous Warrior really quick and read you its story. It's a beautiful card. I love him. 32. Where is Luminous Warrior? So, Luminous Warrior, the essence. The Luminous Warrior has no enemies in this world or the next. He is impeccable in word and deed. And this house, to me, feels like we're building more to this house. We're understanding this house more, if that makes any sense, guys. So I feel like we're adding another wing, another layer, another brick to the foundation that is who we are at a deep spiritual level. And that's what this Luminous Warrior is. He's standing in his truth. He focuses on his light rather than on what hides in the dark. Since he casts no shadow, he is as radiant as the sun and can transform his most terrible enemy into his ally. His power comes not from the sword, but from speaking his truth at all costs. The invitation, the Luminous Warrior reminds you it is important to focus on your power, wisdom, and beauty. Do not be seduced by what seems wrong with you or with the world. Now, that says to me that could be some of the trickster energy. Don't let Coyote pull you into judging yourself, picking yourself apart. There's a stateliness, there's a beauty, and we have to consciously make that choice to focus on that, our strength. Remember that intention follows attention. So focus on your positive thoughts. Feed your light with more light until you feel truly empowered. Then there will be little need for action as you resolve all situations from within. The medicine. Are you being tempted by your emotions to follow your lower instincts? Are you being invited to enter into a quarrel with someone? Put your sword away. This is not the time for battle. Your enemy is not who you think it is. Do not act from a place of anger that will damage your relationships and hurt the ones you care for. Find the truth hiding in your heart that will affirm your instinct for peace rather than for war. So that's what I mean by, even though he is a warrior, he's willing to stand up and stand in his truth. But I'm not saying that we necessarily have to fight for it. I don't get that sense from him. He's not aggressive in any way, but he knows who he is. He has an awareness, both like psychically and materially, through his third chakra there. So the grounding stone is on obsidian, which is a very grounding stone. It's energy. What is our energy today? Where are we placing our energy? Where are we putting our focus? Where are we putting our intention? Where are we putting our attention? Are we shining light, or are we shining negativity? Are we judging ourselves, or are we holding ourselves to a higher standard and knowing that we can achieve that, right? Knowing that we can make choices and changes towards achieving that, and that we are strong enough, that we are like foundationally grounded enough to move through this and follow the light that is within us, the guidance that is within us, the internal system that we saw, like that same light that we saw those fishermen within that Five of Wands. It exists here in this luminous warrior. It exists within our energy. And we need to utilize our energy. You know, obsidian as a stone wards off negative energy. We need to use our own positive energy to ward off any negativity that may be around us at this time. This also clears away that trickster energy that we saw in that coyote card. That's sort of what's the underpinning of the week. So wherever we may be tricking ourselves, or other situations, people, whatever, that we feel like are gathering our attention and putting it into a negative light, we need to maintain our energy and not, don't scratch at the carpet please. We need to maintain our energy and not allow ourselves to be drawn into that negativity, or into that what's the word I'm looking for, that, not preoccupation, but that sort of what's the word, when we get, you know, our attention averted, when we're paying attention to things that don't really deserve our time. Be aware of that, guys. All right, that is your forecast for the day. Sorry it's sort of shorter, but you know, we've just seen this card, so you can go back and look at 2 days ago and look at that rendition of this card. But I just feel like it's us continuing to build on the foundations of what, you know, what we call within ourselves home. What are the truths that are within ourselves? And really understanding them, owning them, and holding true to them. Okay, shining from them. All right, that is your forecast for the day. Thank you so very much for tuning in. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. I look forward to seeing you guys all tomorrow. We're heading into this stately Hierophant energy, definitely. Allow it to be. All right, I love you guys. Have a great day. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.